Now, many thanks for watching the Hub channel. You are welcome to the Market Code, your business identifier, your bridge to business. Now, talking about business, tonight we're going to be focusing mostly on what Uganda can offer to Turkey now with the recent concluded Turkey Africa Economic and Business Forum at the Istanbul Congress Center. A lot of things actually transpired, and what came up was those things that Uganda, the goods that Uganda can actually export to Turkey. Now, you are on DBS at the Hub, and at the Hub we have a lot happening. We have the .net agency where we actually organize B2Bs. We have business webinars. We have brand positioning. Now, anything related to you having your brand positioned and business linked. Look no further than the .net agency that is located at the Hub at Salama Road in Munyonyo. Now, DBS, we are broadcasters for all your content provision, content production, outdoor broadcast, live streaming, name it, TV series, TV shows. This is the place for you. Now, after the break, we discuss with Hajara and throw more light. Do not go away. And welcome back. You are still on the Market Code with yours truly, now more than ever, Shadrach Shagaf Kisame. And on set, as usual, I'm joined with fellow journalist, researcher, and lawyer, Ashaba Hajara. Say hi to the people.
Hello, thank you for joining us once again. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We always appreciate the company.
Right. So Hajara, recently on the 21st to the 22nd, we had the Turkey African Economic and Business Forum at the Istanbul Congress Center.
Yeah.
3,000 Africans in attendance,
Yeah.
Ugandans inclusive, I must imagine.
Yeah.
But just so the people watching us know that the Africa and Turkish actually relate from way back in the 1500s. And this over the last 27 years has yielded over $26 billion
Yeah.
as a result of volume of trade. What does this mean to a Ugandan before we even see what they can offer to Turkey?
I think when I was growing up, it's not long ago, we used to hear of how agriculture is the backbone of Uganda.
Right.
And over the recent years, we've had Museveni, the president, telling us to venture into the services sector and IT. So it normally brings about the debate of what we can import and what we can export. But with our discussion today, we look at what we can export,
Right.
whether we should go into IT and compete with Silicon Valley, or whether we should use our good climate and fertile soils to our advantage and venture into agriculture and put something out there. So if you are a Ugandan and someone mentioned something like an economic forum between Uganda and Turkey, Turkey being a country that is shared by both Europe and Asia and has been struggling to actually be part of the EU, it's a big deal. So if as a Ugandan business person, that would get me thinking about what I can export there, since there is that forum, because it's not just the business forum that happened on 21st and 22nd. You have a free trade area, something in the areas of that sort. So you look at taking advantage of the Turkish market, but you look at the strength of the Turkish market there. What do they produce? What do they manufacture? What can they produce? So as a Ugandan person, what gap can you fit in when you venture out to do something a transaction with Turkey.
Exactly. Now this one actually directly impacts what we call omuntu wa wansi. Omuntu ng'olieyo naddala. I want us to start with the aspect that has been predominantly been Uganda's biggest cash crop. Let's talk about coffee. Omuntu ng'alimwe mwanyize afunira muwa. Ali Masaka, ali Wanga, alimye mwanyize afunira muwa from this Turkey Africa expo.
If you look at, I think coffee is Uganda's major export. We do too well. I think we export about, we earn about I was looking at $6.4 million, something in that line. Yeah, but there is bureaucracy, and people have complained of monopoly when, as you go up the ladder of the chain of exporting coffee. But yeah, before you look into the politics of the whole thing, I think that those that are producing their coffee should look at value addition. Do not sell your coffee seeds when they are still in the garden. I do not know if you have traded in or grown coffee before.
Yeah, I have an insight though.
Yeah, so people normally, like people that have to send kids to school, when coffee is in the months of December because of Christmas, and January, February because kids are going back to school, and coffee is not dry, it's not even ready for harvesting, because people don't have money. Normally they go to coffee traders, they sell their trees. They say, I'm going to give you a ton, because around there, a kilo of coffee is around between 600 to 1,000. So they sell their coffee at such a low price because there is no value addition. And when time comes to harvest and get something out of it, then it's not possible.
Right. So Hadia, when you talk about value addition, now this is where now our conversation elongates and it grows into what happened at the Turkey Business Forum. But before we actually dive deep into that, let the producer give us to see what exactly happened at the event, and then we come back.
All right.
Bu etkinlik için geliştirdiğimiz e-ticaret platformunda binlerce Türk ve Afrika'da iş insanı sanal ortamda iş yapma imkanına sahip oluyor.
Yeni ekonomik düzene baktığımızda Afrika'daki iş ortamının iyileştirilmesi, bir yandan da vatandaşlarının esenliğini arttırmak buradaki amaçlarımız arasında.
Türkiye her daim kendi ticari hak ve menfaatlerini gözetmenin yanında en az gelişmiş ülkelerin ve diğer gelişmekte olan ülkelerin haklarının da savunuculuğunu yapmıştır. Afrika ülkeleriyle ekonomik ilişkilerimiz bir rekabet ilişkisi değil, tam anlamıyla ekonomik işbirliği ilişkisidir.
2003 yılında Afrika kıtası ile 5,4 milyar dolar olan ticaret hacmimiz 2019 yılında 26,2 milyar dolara ulaştı. Kıtaya olan ihracatımız 2003 yılında sadece 2,1 milyar dolar iken bu rakam 2019 yılı itibariyle 16,6 milyar doları aştı. Salgının sebep olduğu olumsuzlukların ilişkilerimizde bu yakaladığımız ivmeyi azaltmasına izin vermemeliyiz. 2019 sonu itibariyle 26,2 milyar dolara ulaşan ticaret hacmimizi önümüzdeki birkaç yılda 50 milyar doların üzerine taşımalıyız. Nelson Mandela özgürlüğe giden 27 yıllık çileli yolculuğunu bakınız nasıl özetliyor. Madiba büyük bir tepeyi aştığında insanın bulacağı şey daha aşılacak çok tepelerin olduğudur diyor.
Interesting right there. Now guess what, Hajara? The president for Turkey, as he is expounding and boasting of the volume of trade that has risen to over 26 billion the last 27 years, he quotes Nelson Mandela Madiba. This actually shows to me that these people are actually interested in Africa, and it is a potential place for them to trade, right? Because of what happens. Now, before we left off, you were talking to a normal planter or someone dealing in coffee, and their coffee is there, and now value addition. How do they get to the level now to export and be part of this free trade area?
Well, I think that I have had people complain a lot that the government eliminated cooperative societies, most especially those of coffee, and did not bring them back. But I think it's high time Ugandans looked at actually bringing these things up themselves, like how you can see a trade union, but have something for coffee. I think it would really be beneficial. But before we even go that far, I think that the Ugandan coffee growers should be patient with their coffee. Please stop selling your seeds before they are ready for harvesting. At least secure a loan from such a person, and you tell them, once my coffee is ready, because you know, there is the stage where they are still in the garden, they are raw. People sell them at that level, 600 to 1,000. Then there are those that sell them when they are dry, the seeds when they are dry. Then there are those that go ahead and take them to something that it can be equated to a milling machine, and someone is making between 4,000 to 6,000 off a kilogram. So if you acquire a loan and you sell the coffee that you're selling at 600, but you sell it at 4,000, then you can make something out of that. So I think people need to stop getting taken advantage of, because traders are going to take advantage of this always. But make sure that if you have a coffee garden, you hang on to your seeds until you can have something to make out of it.
Hajara, what opportunities intrinsically are there for a coffee grower? Okay, you've advised them on what not to do. So what should they do for these opportunities that are in Turkey right now? Unfortunately for Europe, unfortunately for Africa, they do not have the kind of climate that you need to have an annual coffee output, which is why, and they are really coffee drinkers, which is why they have to rely on Africa for such things. Second, we are terrible when it comes to value addition. So normally we sell seeds, or we don't really sell the final product. So we sell these things to these people, to the Europeans, and they make something of the coffee, and they actually make more money from it. So you can do that. You can find your way to selling your coffee at a price where it's not refined, and you earn a little from it when you're Ugandan, or there are coffee machines available. We can actually start refining our own coffee and we sell it there. But the advantage that Africa has over Europe, Turkey inclusive, is that they're incapable of growing what we have. And where Ugandan finds an advantage is that Uganda is one of the major coffee exporters. We are regarded as one of those countries with really quality coffee, although we really sell it when it is at a stage where we cannot maximize profits from it. So before we go to maximizing the profits, I would love it if Ugandans knew that what they are growing, because I'm from Ruhama and Tungamo, when almost every banana plantation you pass by, there are coffee trees there, and they make they yield a lot. So I would encourage Ugandans to watch channels like this, make a little bit of research, and actually understand that they are sitting on gold mines. Exactly. Now, talking about research, a metric ton now is over 1,300 US dollars. So for any coffee planter or any coffee dealer, you have to watch out for that, because for starters, that is a good place. Now, do not go away. We return after the break. Welcome back. Now you are still on the Market Code, your business identifier, your bridge to business. Now you are watching the Hub channel by DBS. Now remember, we are at the Hub, and a lot actually takes place at the Hub. The Hub is the mother for the .NET agency. Now the .NET agency is your bridger to business, where we are organizing B2B's business webinars, all your business solutions, brand positioning, name it. .NET agency has you sorted. Hajara, at the forum, as Uganda was exposing what is potentially to be exported, cocoa now comes in the picture, where a metric ton is over $2,100, and there is space for us to grow and commercialize this other than just growing just for survival cases. How does a Ugandan now in the business of growing cocoa position themselves for such a platform?
You know, basically, sometimes you have accused me several times of being political, but I do not know how we have spaces of these things that need to be filled out there, and yet Ugandans do not have, they don't get the available opportunities. The next thing you hear is that some rich, powerful person out there is monopolizing the export trade. But I think that government needs to put in place incentives, because agriculture is our strength. It really is that one thing that we can give that most of the people cannot give. So I think government and private individuals need to come together and put in place avenues that people can use to export some of these things. Now, cocoa, last week there was a documentary on BBC Radio, and they were discussing this man that has taken to value addition of cocoa in Cote d'Ivoire, and is making millions of dollars from it. So I think that sometimes people need to be shown a light. It is the responsibility of government to be
exactly fair. That's what I want to ask. What does an average Ugandan know about cocoa?
I don't think...
Do we even know that we grow it here? For someone who wants to deal, say for instance, I don't want to grow, but I want to deal in it from maybe a grower or something. Do we know it's here?
Well, you would first ask yourself a question: do we have a chocolate factory here? We do not. That's how much we don't know about cocoa. So I think that as we have been a very lax population for the last 3 decades or so, but I think that people, where government has failed, I think that those of us that, for example, like how you see the Hub channel contributing by bringing research and this information here, I think other people that are in agriculture but have a leveled ground compared to the farmers, and we have the Uganda Investment Authority, for God's sake. Other than boarding planes and going to tell Turkey that we have these things here and here, what else are you doing? Do Ugandans know that you exist? Of what impact are you to the Ugandans? So I think that the different organizations that are supposed to be helping with informing Ugandans with what they can do with their agriculture have relaxed on it. And I think it's a mistake, because we have a lot to give to the world.
So in the forum, what actually came up was that countries like Indonesia, India, and Malaysia are open. There's market for cocoa. But here, Ugandans do not know, and there's nothing that has been done about it.
No, but you see, sometimes we produce things, and the quality that we produce, or the quantity that we produce, if someone said, please distribute, or rather supply me with this amount of this and this and this, we would actually fail even if they asked for beans. That is the quantity. Or you would look at the quality. Kenya has been closing its borders to Ugandan products, claiming that our products do not reach the standard.
The quantity is the quality is wanting.
Yes, it is wanting. It has happened not once, not twice. We have quality soils, but because we produce on a subsistent level, we don't go an extra mile to make sure that we produce for the world. It is not there. What we sell is the surplus. But is that what is supposed to be? Is that what is supposed to be done? No. We are supposed to be practicing an agriculture on a level that we are consuming the surplus and we are exporting the primary.
Yeah.
But because we do not have a government that supports people in the, I repeat that several times, the government has not done enough. People need to know where the market is. For example, I just like I said, I come from southwestern Uganda. It is a hub of milk, but how much dairy products do we export? At that very firm, they talked about, I think it was Morrison, the Uganda representative.
Yes.
Yeah, he talks about how Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria export dairy products, but from Europe at exorbitant prices. Yet we'll be giving out something quality at affordable prices for those people. But we actually get something for the local farmers here.
Right.
Yeah, but you go to Ntungamo and you find a liter of milk at 800, 600. Things are happening that way because people do not know that they can actually add value to their products more than what they know traditionally.
Yeah.
And that is the responsibility of government. But where the government is not coming in, private individuals need to come up and devise means of making sure that we stop this subsistence kind of thing. Because we are not going to introduce Facebook, it's there. We are not going to compete with the United States, with the Zuckerbergs, and as far as technology is concerned. But we have our soils, we have our agriculture. What are we doing with what we have? Going back to the cocoa that you mentioned about Indonesia and Malaysia. Yes, we grow the product. West Africa grows the product. Yes, Africa has the product. It is only Africa that can actually afford to have something that is really nice and can be produced on an annual basis. But what is the quality and quantity of our production? Wanting. Yeah,
because I for a person now, for instance, when it comes to coffee has been popular, but cocoa has not. Don't you think that the information or the education gap between what is there, like what we're trying to do to bridge the gap, don't you think for cocoa the gap has been wider than the rest? For instance, coffee, because cocoa, people are not even venturing to grow it. It's a few people that have the information, then they go put up farms here and there. I, for a person, would think government would invest more in regards to cocoa, more in the sensitization, the education, and then putting up avenues like this to teach Ugandans so that they can know the opportunities that are there. I'm not a farmer, but what is more difficult, cocoa or coffee, when it comes to growing and nourishing?
No, I think it's coffee. Coffee is easier to grow because cocoa can only flourish in particular parts of Uganda. It's like how you see rice, it's like how you see simsim, it's like how you see cotton. But that still, I remember there was, I once wrote a document. It was looking at the agri-potential of Uganda and how the different regions can be strengthened, be it government if it wants, to have agricultural outputs that are actually beneficial. Ntungamo is good with matoke and milk, right? So how about you have, government, how about you have a hub that is government supported in Ntungamo that looks at value addition of matoke and milk, and you look at competing on a global scale. You go to northern Uganda, they are better with simsim. Perhaps they are better with cocoa. How about you go there, establish a plant like that, West Nile and tobacco, things like that. How about we look for regions that can grow things that are needed on a world market more, like you see soybeans, things like that, really expensive, but the supply is low. How about we go looking for regions that can give us that in larger quantities and have government facilities there? Yes, you're going to be fought by World Bank. Yes, you're going to be fought by your own parliament, but there are things that you have to do because the World Bank is not going to solve your problems.
Correct. Now, we are talking about agriculture, and now let's talk about the aqua life, the fish. At this same forum, they come up and say, hey, we have Lake Albert and Lake Victoria that has the potential of producing over 18 million metric tons of fish that is worth over 31 million US dollars in terms of revenue. All this is potential. But Hajara, what is, because that would be the heaven in terms of fish is concerned, what is stopping us from getting to this heaven or promised land?
Because, like I said, there is monopoly of the markets. You see, you're going to hear that fish can be exported. You're going to hear the president saying that you people, you should venture in this. But people get suffocated. The higher they go, the more the suffocation gets. And at a certain point, you do not go through unless you know a particular someone. Yes, so you do not have a communist government in place, but it is as though the trade process has been made communist. And I think, and then we have issues of getting fish when it's really young. We've been having abusive
But government
farming.
has been fighting that catching of young fish for several months now.
Yeah, where are we? Actually, yes, but where are we? Yeah. It's still being done, which is why you go pass by the streets of Kampala. You're going to find someone selling fish that is as small as my finger. Yeah, and you ask yourself, for God's sake, where did they get this from? They are on the markets. Who is regulating the markets? Who is in charge of supervising these things? Yeah, so you have freshwater lakes, yes,
that has that potential,
yes, but the government has not comprehended that there is so much in as far as exports are concerned that we can get from these things. So what happens? They neglect the duty. There is a lot of bribery there on the lakes. Someone comes, pays something small, fishes. Then we have the issue of dumping of bottles and polythene bags that has affected the aqua life.
Hazardous waste. It's been a problem.
Yeah, exactly. But it is as though the government is ill-equipped to handle these things. It is like it's not covering the country. What are you doing to stop this? Yeah, and then you have, now I come to private individuals, Ugandans. We don't need lakes to be able to be in the fish export business. You can have ponds at home.
Correct.
Yeah, find out the kinds of fish that have bigger market out there. Have a pond at home. One or two, have these things. If it works out for you, expand your market.
Exactly, that's what I was going to bring you into now. Because if we have so much politics going on with Lake Albert and Lake Victoria, then where does this leave the private entrepreneurs and the private businessmen who are in the fish growing business? Anyway, it takes us back still to government. Has government made the environment conducive, I mean the business environment conducive for them to grow their fish privately in their ponds so that they can export? Because $31 million is quite a lot of money, and it's a big pool for anyone to dip in there.
Yeah. Well, I think for this one, the government really doesn't have to be charged with responsibility. You know, the government has messed up on so many levels, but when it comes to people wanting to pursue economic activities that don't really infringe the politics, normally they let you be. Yeah, so I think that even us as a people, there is a lot of laxity. Yeah, there is a lot we have not done. We do not make enough research. We are terrible investors. We are terrible risk takers. We do not know what the export market entails. So I think that Ugandans need to do more. As a citizenry, we are not doing enough. We cannot always task the government with these responsibilities. At least the government has let us down, not once, not twice. We know that our government's strength is security. But these other things, the economics, those ones, they just don't know. But I think that Ugandans, we need to come together, have trade organizations, have trade unions, have cooperative societies. If it's a fish thing, have a fish thing. If it's a cocoa thing, have a cocoa thing. If it's a goats, cows, anything. But I think that we are not doing enough research and we are not involving ourselves enough as a people.
And that's how we lose out on $31 million. But something exciting actually shows up as one of the potential exports that can actually bring us a lot of money. On 1 hectare, you can actually grow close to 1.8 metric tons, and every metric ton could go for close to over $980. But after the break, we talk about the beans. Do not go away. Hi, my name is Shadrach Shagaf Kisame. I know you may or may not even know me. However, that is not important. The important part is allow me introduce or even bring to you what could actually turn out to be your business kickstarter or even business lifesaver. You see, in our day-to-day endeavors to make that extra dollar, for some, that only dollar, the biggest barricade, the biggest frustration, and even the biggest hindrance turns out to be the knowledge gap, the business gap. Provided the outcome is income, your dream is valid. We will be coming to you live with business exclusives, business nuggets, and business insights. Above all, business interviews from your international top business moguls. Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news for you. The Hub Channel by DBS. Right, the Hub Channel by DBS. Now, right about now, it's the market code, your business identifier, your bridge to business. Now, Ugandans who are out there, I want you to listen and listen carefully. Just by this channel alone, you have your business encyclopedia. Anything business, we have you sorted. Now, you can follow us on all our social media platforms, the Hub Channel or DBS. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hajara, something insightful comes up. The beans. Yeah. These are normal legumes that grow anywhere, but they have a potential for export. Someone says just in 1 hectare, you can, people call it acre. You can grow over 1.8 metric tons. Yeah. And then that means that per ton, you have close to $1,000. How exciting is this for a Ugandan who is dealing in beans to Turkey as a trade area?
I want to first bring your hopes down a little bit. I have an agricultural background, and there are things that factor in with production and the quantity of what you can put out. And given our level of agriculture, then you're depending on the weather. And sometimes things don't go as planned. But yes, Ugandans grow beans. So if Uganda as a country decided to actually export as a collective force, export beans, we would have something in place, because normally you would hear people saying we are taking beans to Busia, it's from there that they export, and of course we export to our neighbors. But
to Kenya. But Hajara, are these just numbers, or is it a reality? Can I actually be able to grow these on just 1 acre and make that money out of it if I export, that is?
Yes, you actually can. Beans are normally grown squeezed, and if they are not bothered by the sun, or if we actually wake up and start injecting money in our agriculture, if you have an assured water source and supply available, you can actually produce that and more, because an acre of land is not so small when it comes to beans. Yeah.
Because they are compacted. Now, you said inject money in agriculture. How expensive is growing of beans for a Ugandan out there who wants to venture in growth of beans now that they have had these opportunities that is at play?
First of all, you do not need to establish sprinklers. You could just fetch water. Or for those that have gardens in places that have a bit of water, have trenches in between the garden, so water can be passing through whenever the seasons come, so the soil does not go dry. But I think that with things like beans, you don't really need much to make sure that you produce. Just shift your mind from depending on the natural weather to you doing something. Have we looked into fertilizers and how much they can do for us? I don't think we have done that. Have we taught our people? We used to have NADS. NADS was for extension services, for God's sake. Now they injected in the UPDF. What are they doing?
To make it better, because at first NADS was really, really corrupt. So the president of Uganda, with his wisdom, they thought it wise to bring in people that won't be corrupted.
You know, as you do praise his wisdom, in the recent, I think it must have been last month, the man said that all constructions that are going on in this country should be taken up by the UPDF. So from a security perspective, it is wise, but from putting Ugandans out of employment, first the agricultural people that worked with NADS are out of work. I know someone that has been out of work for close to 10 years. Now you're putting civil engineers out of work, so it's not really wisdom. But that notwithstanding, You do not have NADS doing what they should have done. I recently read an article of Maurice Ogenga-Latego. He was saying, you spoiled NADS, you put in the UPDF, they do not know what they are doing. The other ones were extension workers that were veterinary doctors, that are people that had trained in agriculture.
But these technocrats are being bribed, Hajara.
But who is not corrupt is the UPDF clean. You look at the names that have surfaced in corruption scandals. Jim Wes is not a civilian. Kind Affair is not a civilian. I'm just saying that we have a country infested by corruption because of the governance system, not because of the civilians. So if you can have a disciplined army and you have an indisciplined civilian population, then the problem is somewhere, not with the civilians, but with the with the leadership, not to politics. But I think that people need to stop relying on the government. You know, my favorite political quote is by Ronald Reagan. He said that I'm from the government and I'm here to help are the 9 most terrifying words of the English dictionary. So people need to understand that the government of Uganda is not going to help us with the discrepancies that we see in agriculture and the potential that Uganda has, that Uganda can have in as far as exports are concerned. People need to come together. People need to establish societies that can help them export. I think that we have not ventured enough in exportation, and yet we have the animals, we have the crops, we produce things. We produce beans, we produce maize, we produce cocoa, we have cotton, we have coffee. We have very many things that we do not even consume. So I think that Ugandans need to make more research and they need to venture into them as individuals and stop relying on the information that can be brought in by government.
All right. You know, Hajar, a lot was spoken. Now, the northeastern and I think also the northwestern parts of Uganda, we are very good growers of simsim. Now, the Turkish people love simsim, but without a coating, so they choose to call it sesame. Now, that one, per hectare, you actually can grow 1.2 metric tons, and out of per metric ton over $1,800. Now there's that opportunity for the northern part of Uganda. So this for the northerners watching, or someone who is actually there and areas that can grow simsim or this sesame. What do they do now? How do they position themselves, minus your politics?
You know what is harder is someone that has less than a hectare of land growing something for export. Very many things are going to come in, perhaps the pests, perhaps the weather, because we're not at a stage where we can venture out into having things that come in when nature does not. But I think that if people can come in as a community, it may do better. Do not have your piece of land given all of it the community fight. But I think that if communities, if they came together, just like we come together and we have money that then we give to this one this month and the other, we could just pick one piece of land as a community and you grow there something that you can export. I think that would work. Or those that have land that is close to each other, each one gets a portion from their land and they grow something. I think that individualism is not going to help pull us out of the poverty and the value that we would actually get from exporting things that we produce here. But I think that whatever happens, Ugandans need to put their heads in this game and figure out what they need to do. Because my head may be giving solutions, the solutions that can work for Ntungamo people. But you that comes from, say, Kamuli, you that comes from Oyam, what works there? People need to figure out what works for them.
Exactly. Now, for northern Uganda, where now we have this simsim being grown at a really large scale, is now where we find destabilization. People don't even really care about export. How do we now take this news of exportation and growing large-scale commercialization of agriculture, because now Turkey has proven that we have sesame here, which is the simsim without a coating, that this can make money for the country. How then do we preach this good news in such a destabilized area?
You know, to be fair, I think the government doesn't realize this, but at the end of the day, they're the ones that lose. You have had civil society organizations, you have had non-government organizations, you have had the government going there to teach these people about the effects of and how they can recover from it. They have given them money as compensation. They have taken their nuts to give them cows,
Right.
but you're giving someone one cow. What is it going to do? But what are we doing about strengthening what these people already have?
Yeah.
What information are we giving them? No information. Now, this now goes down to the citizens. You people, what are you doing for yourselves?
Right.
Why do we sit on our hands and wait for government to better our lives? The government that won't, because I mean, the only thing any government will ever need from me is the support that keeps it in power.
Right.
So I think that people need to get responsible. As a citizenry, this, I say it without fear of contradiction.
Yeah.
We are not doing enough as a people. You cannot do it alone, yes, but have you talked to your neighbor about it? What research have you made? Do you even know that exportation is happening out there? Now, you have a country like Turkey opening its borders and they're saying, please bring in your products.
Yeah.
For them, they know that the one thing that is going to throw you out of the market is your quality. So work on your quality. I'm going to give you an example. I have a friend, he's called Cadet Benjamin.
Yeah.
Cadet grows cannabis. He secured a license to grow cannabis in Kasese.
Yeah.
This week, today is Saturday. This week,
Yeah.
he exported 400 kilograms of marijuana to Germany. His quality of cannabis was able to pass the tests and entrench the German market, and the contract is he's supposed to give them 600 more kilograms, making it a ton. It means that a Ugandan is out there in Europe capturing a market in an economy as strong as Germany.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if we put in enough research, we can actually have these markets. We can be able to export either as individuals or as communities.
Right. Now, we can sit here the whole day and, advise, criticize, but the issue still remains. Government needs to do something now.
Yeah.
The producer is going to give us, as the Turkey say, that their future is actually Africa.
Herkese merhabalar. Bugün DEİK Yurtdışı Yatırımlar İş Konseyi olarak ilgi çekeceğini düşündüğümüz bir panele ev sahipliği yapıyoruz. Öncelikle herkese hoş geldiniz diyorum, bizi takip eden. İsmim Abdullah Çerekçi, Yurtdışı Yatırımlar İş Konseyi Başkanlığı'nı yürütüyorum. Aynı zamanda Zorlu Holding Strateji ve Yatırımlardan sorumlu Genel Müdür Yardımcısıyım. Moderatörlüğü ben yapıyor olacağım bugünkü panelde. Kısaca bir Yurtdışı Yatırımlar İş Konseyi'den bahsedeyim. O arada katılımcılar da gelmeye devam.
Şöyle görme fırsatımız oluyor. Tabii şirketlerimiz adına da taramalar yaptığımız için sadece Türkiye'ye sınırlı olmak mümkün değil. Genel olarak birçok alana bakıyoruz. Böyle bir soruya genelde karşılaştırma yapacaksak
hedefleri var. Özellikle 2011 yılında böyle e-ticaret gerçekten Türkiye'de rekor büyüme rakamlarına ulaştığı bir dönemde. Yani önemli ölçekler, önemli parametrelerden bir tanesi sizin toplam ticaretinizin ülke olarak ne kadarı dijital platformlar üzerinden gerçekleşiyor, transaction'lar veyahut da gelirler. Buna baktığımızda yani çok aslında daha düşük noktalardaydık. Şimdi bir tık daha iyiyiz ama o zaman ciddi bir aşama kaydedilmişti. Ciddi bir transformasyon ihtiyacı var. Hala var. Bu sürüyor. O zaman bunu birazcık daha görüp bu e-ticaret transformasyonuna inovatif anlamda katkı sağlayacak çözümler üzerine düşündük. Hikaye orada başladı. Valla şirket, süreçler, ürün böyle yani bayağı bir başkalaşım geçirdi kaç defa. Yani başladığımız yerle çıktığımız yer arasında çok fark var. Gittiğimiz yer arasında da çok fazla fark olacak. Belki işte zaten dinleyiciler de biliyordur bu Agile dediğimiz noktada. Yani odamızda
All right, interesting affirmations right there as the Turkish pledge that their future is in Africa. Now, Uganda particularly, we have been here on the show and we've listed some of those products that you can export that have a ready market here at the Market Code. Now, Hajara, we cannot wind up the show minus talking about something that is extremely important, that is among the list of products that can be exported, maize.
Yeah.
Maize can be exported and you make quite a lot of money from the tax. But what happens, because most of our maize just along the way, maybe in the farm, maybe are we growing enough? How does someone dealing in maize position themselves for such an opportunity as we wind up?
Let me tell you something. If you look at the statistics of the exports that Uganda is putting out, you're actually going to see that we are putting things out. Uganda is exporting.
Yeah.
Not enough, but it's exporting. But Ugandans, generally, you cannot see it when you look at the Ugandan farmers because they're exploited by middlemen and people that eventually export. Just like I said, the higher you go, the more you go up the ladder of exports, the more bureaucracies come in to squeeze you. Most people get off the ladder that way. You have people that have their connections, and people don't just go beyond a certain level. I think because Ugandans grow maize, and dear Lord, they make unimaginable losses. You find a kilogram of maize at 1,000, a kilogram of maize sometimes at 300, 600. There is no way people can go through that season after season and they put their head up. You cannot grow up from that one. So I think that however much I'm going to charge us with the responsibility of making research and finding out about exportation, but I really call on government to come in and regulate. Because the people monopolizing the markets are government people. But government has the responsibility, control, but to a particular level. If you're going to exploit people, do not give them 300. Do not give them 600. What are you, a foreigner? We need to have a people-based governance. We need to go back to the drawing board. We are losing, by these people, losing hope in agriculture and outputting very little. So government should come in. Members of parliament that they are making noise for us should come in to do something sensible. Yes, these are your constituents. They are growing things. They are not benefiting from the things. What are you doing about it? What are you in parliament doing other than passing bills that are going to bring GMOs here and starve people? So we are not doing enough. The leaders are not doing enough. Ugandans are being exploited, and you cannot even blame them because we are going to pass. The taxes are exorbitant. You have foreigners here, they have tax incentives. Ugandans do not have. So when a Ugandan brings up their head, you tax them twice for both themselves and the foreigners that you're letting repatriate all the profits back home. So government needs to do its job.
So finally, as we wind up, I want you to look in this camera and assure Ugandans, because that is a problem that's been happening, but the .net agency is here to help people sort the middlemen kind of issues where people are ripped off, where, you know, all that kind of drama. Now, I want you to look in that camera, talk to the people that the .net agency is here to sort them.
We happen to know somewhere .net hub. That's the name of the building. It's on Salama Road, Munyonyo. To those, just like we said earlier in the show, I think it's complicated making strides as an individual, but come up as a village. When you are a village, you have a voice that is not going to get ignored by politicians in case someone is trying to hit you on the head. You have an agency, .net agency, that have access to Turkish markets, that can give you a direct link, direct access to people that need your products in Turkey. Take advantage of an establishment like this. You look for .net hub, Salama Road, Munyonyo, and you make sure that you speak to the people there. You have your product, you have something, you have some, even if it's a projection, you have your garden as a community, as a village, as an individual that is going to put out something in 2 months of this and that quality. You speak to these people, and for them, they are at the ground in Turkey. For us, we can link you up with the people that can actually get you market for your products. Do not try to go through the normal channels to South Sudan or Busia that normally get people losing their products or getting them sold at really exorbitant prices. Look for .net hub or an establishment, or on this, I'm just going to look for something that does the same job as .net hub. I only know .net hub, but make sure that you get people that can get you a direct direct link to the people that you can export to, in this case, Turkey, and in this case, dotnethub. Do not get exploited by really selfish people that have enough already. Take advantage of the available channels.
That have enough already. Right, that is the lady in the chair. I'm telling you, I never get enough of Ashaba Hajara every time she's politicking. But she is right. The .NET agency is here to actually directly link you to that manufacturer, that business person that you need, that investor, and also brand position you. Now, we have a lot of these webinars that actually teach you about business projections, name it. Now, you've been a lovely audience. Thank you very much. That's been this week's episode of Market Code, your business identifier. We are still here, and we are at the hub. Now, remember, at the .NET Hub, we have a lot of things. It's where we have the DBS, where they are broadcasters. Now, they are production house, live streaming, outdoor broadcast, transmit broadcast, uplink, satellite, TV shows, video collection, name it. The list is endless. Anything to do with broadcasting, look no further than the DBS. Now, finally, the Nana Cakes are also at the hub, Salama Road, Munyonyo. Now, for all your wedding cakes, pastries, look no further. They are here to sort you. Now, from me and the entire management at the Hub channel, we want to sign out. We want to say same place next time. Bye-bye. Adios.
Adios.
Hi, my name is Shadrach Shagaf Kisame. I know you may or may not even know me. However, that is not important. The important part is allow me introduce or even bring to you what could actually turn out to be your business Kickstarter or even business lifesaver. You see, in our day-to-day endeavors to make that extra dollar, for some, that only dollar, the biggest barricade, the biggest frustration, and even the biggest hindrance turns out to be the knowledge gap, the business gap. Provided the outcome is income, your dream is valid. We will be coming to you live with business exclusives, business nuggets, and business insights. Above all, business interviews from your international top business moguls. Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news for you. The Hub channel by DBS.
In this generation and on, early digital literacy will have a huge impact on self-development and strategic intelligence. .NET Hub is cracking the future's code. Kids Who Code is a youth-based circuit program at .NET Hub. This is an initiative to help the kids begin their engineering journey, guiding them and activating their intuition abilities. Learning how to assemble robot systems and learning how to communicate with these machines. Learning coding is the only way to stay competitive in this emerging technology growth and global technology market. The future doesn't just happen. Future gets happened. Embrace technology. Have your child enrolled this holiday. The future is in technology and brighter future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead. Join the Hub community today for AI, machine learning, smart technologies and software development. Visit .NET Hub today at Car Boomer Stage, Sir Lumamunua Neo Road. Contact the Hub on 0200-904-050 or at www.dotnetug.com.